The first thing that K-pop stans need to understand is that songs are not short just because of their length. A song being under 3 minutes doesn't mean, oh, it's short and unsatisfying, because I've listened to songs that are under 3 minutes that feel long even though they're not. A recent example for me in K-pop is Chonghyun's Fix a Drink solo song B-side from Twice's newest album, where the song is under 2 minutes 58 seconds but the song was made to be a song and not some viral TikTok catchy short few second trend or something. The problem is how the songs are made. These short K-pop songs feel like they're made for TikTok virality, and so the songs have catchy choruses, repetitive parts are something that makes it viral ready and it feels short because of those parts and not because of its length. If a song is built to be like an actual song, the length doesn't affect anything because I've said before that songs being short could be a good thing also because of not having unnecessary parts that don't need to be there. Y'all just haven't found the right short music to know that short songs aren't bad, and acting like the length is the problem because y'all always be mentioning how short the length is funny considering y'all are talking about mainly mainstream and popular groups trying to release a viral catchy song that's easily streamable, so of course the music is gonna feel incomplete because they're not trying to make titles with the music in mind, but the viral success they want it to be. The next thing that K-pop stans need to understand is that K-pop stans always be bringing up wanting adults to debut more than minors talking about child development, growing up, finishing school but also more importantly about the toxic K-pop industry with the dark side, pressures and other such things, which I have also spoken out about before. But I just had a thought and it's that, while yes we should continue talking about minors in K-pop for wanting to protect them, but also we shouldn't just push idols who are adults aside just because we think they're more capable of making decisions and handling things because they're more developed, because remember being an adult doesn't automatically mean the toxic side of the K-pop industry goes away. All the things you mention in relation to the K-pop industry being toxic to minors can also be toxic to adults. Adults also have mental health issues and break down. It's not only minors who can go through horrible things because of the industry, but adults too can also end up in bad situations that could affect them. We should stop having this mentality about wanting adults to debut because of their more developed selves, because while that is true, they're also still human beings at the end of the day who can get hurt, hospitalized, take breaks due to mental health struggles and other such things to come out due to being a K-pop idol. We should also be supportive of adult idols in this context and shouldn't just be outraged when it comes to minors. The next thing that K-pop stans need to understand is that the paving they think that BTS did in the West is not an actual paving. Because what paving did BTS actually do when if you think about the West, mostly the West is just referred to as America and not actually the West where other countries and places also fall into this category. Also, what major breakthrough has K-pop really had in the West apart from 3 to 4 groups performing at Coachella, Lollapalooza and maybe some K-pop performances on talk shows, news shows etc. Besides that there are a lot of online YouTube-made content of K-pop groups for 17, The Channel, BuzzFeed, Song Association with Elle and others and also being interviewed on Zach Sang. I've never really seen any major breakthrough of K-pop groups that BTS supposed paving the way helped, because whatever y'all think BTS did mainly just seemed to have benefited themselves. Also, recently the VMAs happened and Lisa won Best K-pop at the VMAs for Born Again, which is laughable considering that she's Thai, and collabed with Ray, a British singer, and Doja Cat, an American singer and rapper, where none of the 3 women are Korean, winning Best K-pop for an English song, and not even a Korean song. Not to mention again K-pop Demon Hunters feeling watered down for Western audiences with little to no Korean language in the songs and the movie being in English, which would be fine, but it just doesn't feel as K-pop as the title feels. Y'all say BTS paved the way, but y'all need to understand that people in the West don't care about K-pop as much as you think apart from BTS and Blackpink being so popular, and if they do care about other groups and artists, they're more likely a K-pop stan. The next thing that K-pop stans need to understand is that songs by K-pop artists that are in English are not K-pop at all and y'all need to stop saying that. Yes, the artist still remains K-pop because they're a K-pop artist, but the song isn't K-pop at all being in English. I've talked about this before and I have a new thought related to it. How can you guys say a song in English can be K-pop just because y'all probably think that because the artist is under a K-pop company the English song is K-pop, when the song is in a language a Western artist could release, and I'm sure as hell y'all won't consider it K-pop if the Western artist released the same exact song. If Taylor Swift or Ariana Grande or Demi Lovato debuted under a K-pop label and released the same English songs by K-pop artists that y'all still refer to as K-pop, would you call it K-pop even if the artists are Western? If not, then you guys are just picking and choosing what y'all wanna call K-pop without actually trying to refer to them properly under proper labels. K-pop artist songs in English are most probably made for Western markets and audiences, and so that alone should make the song not K-pop because they're targeting another market with this release. It should be that simple for you guys. Korean songs by K-pop artists are K-pop, Japanese songs by K-pop artists are J-pop, and English songs by K-pop artists are English. The next thing that K-pop stans need to understand is that y'all use certain words way too much. I've seen K-pop stans, for example, use the word overrated for basically any type of popular, mainstream group, and while overrated may actually work for some, I don't understand K-pop stans calling a popular, mainstream group overrated because I see it for different groups said by K-tubers in opinions videos and shorts, and I feel like sometimes K-tubers just say it because the group is popular, mainstream, and not because the group is actually overrated, because you can be successful and still be good enough to not be labeled overrated. People need to stop using words like overrated, underrated, and words like these in terms of K-pop groups, K-pop songs, and such when you do not even know how to properly use these words to properly label groups under these terms. Y'all will literally call any group underrated, diminishing the hard work that these groups have put in, showing that they're becoming more known, and yet you guys ignore that and still call them underrated when they're getting closer to popularity than they are to going back to newgudom. Y'all will literally call anyone overrated because they may have reached to a certain popularity, mainstream standpoint that makes you think so, and not because they're seen as greater than they are. Do you guys actually think a group is overrated, or do you just wait for groups to reach a certain popularity level before you can start throwing that word around to any group that might fit the label? Also, do you actually think a group is underrated, or do you just call them underrated because you'd rather just see them as such because you don't want to believe they're getting successful? If you want to use these words, use them correctly in the correct context where it matters, or don't use them at all. Because a group being popular and mainstream and being at a certain level of fame doesn't automatically make them overrated, and a group not being as popular as some of the bigger groups who are popular, mainstream doesn't automatically make them underrated. You guys need to research before using these words so freely as if you know what you're talking about when you don't. The next thing that K-pop stans need to understand is that, I don't think every group needs to stand out. Yes, I know y'all say a group doesn't stand out, often thinking they have no distinct thing about them that makes them different from other groups, so people know they're existing and not forgettable. And while I think that is a point to make, I don't however believe that every group needs to stand out if you see them as forgettable, because playing it safe and being a group that they are, and just making catchy music that sounds like another group could make them maybe be something that works for them. If they were to do something that helps them stand out, it might lead to them standing out and K-pop stans noticing them more, but for wrong reasons. Plus, you thinking that they're forgettable and don't stand out could also be a personal thought that you have, and someone else could be thinking the opposite and enjoying them, not thinking they're forgettable at all. Me as a music listener enjoys songs that are slower paced and boring, so if a group puts out a title track that comes off as boring, mid, and nothing that stands out compared to their other music, and you say that the song is boring, mid, and nothing stands out, I on the other hand might like it because I prefer this type of music and might see it as better, personally, over the other songs that you say makes the group stand out. Plus, the songs that you say don't make the group stand out could be songs that others say do make the group stand out, and everyone has different opinions due to people having different tastes. A group being forgettable is not actually true if there are a group of people who think otherwise, since that's why different genres and sounds exist for different listeners of music. Not everyone who listens to K-pop likes cute concept songs or baddie noise music, and everyone, like me, might have preferences for a group doing one sound over the other and might say, X group should do this type of music more because it works for them, and so, yeah. A group doesn't always need to stand out and can play it safe, but also be a standout. But since you may not like the music they're putting out, you probably think they're forgettable more because of your tastes rather than them actually being forgettable. The next thing that K-pop stans need to understand is that I don't understand what makes K-pop Demon Hunters K-pop, because the music is completely in English with a few English words, since I've said many times before that the music has to be in Korean to be K-pop, because if it's in English, what makes it any different from Westerners or other countries releasing English music? Can anyone tell me? Because if the music is in English, just call it Western Demon Pop Hunters. Also, if K-pop Demon Hunters is K-pop because of the Korean cast, then if an Indian, for example, debuted in the K-pop Demon Hunters movie as a character, would the movie also be Indian Pop Demon Hunters, just because of the Indian, or would y'all not say that because y'all like to pick and choose labels? Also, if y'all could just be going off on the basis of the cast that, oh, the cast is Korean, so it's K-pop, then again with the Indian example, an Indian did join the movie, then would it still be K-pop Demon Hunters, or would it lose its K-pop label? What really sets the movie apart in the K-pop aspect for it to have such a name and not just simply called Demon Hunters? I'm just so confused on what actually makes it K-pop for it to be called such. The next thing that K-pop stans need to understand is that, on the topic of K-pop Demon Hunters, I wanted to say that why do people accept K-pop Demon Hunters as K-pop and don't really care about the music being 99% in English? I'm not saying that in the sense to hate you for liking the movie, but if you're a K-pop stan who hates K-pop for being more English than Korean, possibly due to westernization or something similar, but you're here liking K-pop Demon Hunters, wouldn't that be contradictory? Because what makes K-pop Demon Hunters different supposing to be K-pop, when they're doing the same things y'all hate K-pop groups for? I just mean that if they're trying with the movie called K-pop, they can have Korean in the lyrics alongside the English. Not only just mostly English and the Korean being a cameo. Because when they make the sequels, since I've heard sequels are being made, and have more English in the songs and lack of Korean with the sequels, then when will it be okay for them to go back to Korean for it to finally come back to the term K-pop? If it doesn't go back to Korean at all, would it have been a waste to have called the movie K-pop Demon Hunters in the first place? Also, where are the K-pop stans caring about these things? Because I'm not seeing anyone say anything about K-pop Demon Hunters the same way they talk about K-pop groups, more English and less Korean, in songs, and also, what makes y'all so okay with accepting this movie as K-pop, since I wanna know what y'all think K-pop actually is, and what do y'all think exists in the movie that actually makes the movie K-pop apart from its title being such. The next thing that K-pop stans need to understand is that people should stop comparing idols to others. What I mean by that, is that when an idol who is sick or injured and doesn't perform well is compared to another artist, maybe an idol or maybe a Western singer, also sick or injured but gave it their full 100%. I don't understand the comparisons as if people are supposed to push themselves when they're sick or injured to perform just because someone else did it. Health comes first and not everyone is the same. It's damaging to have to push yourself too hard, because say you're an idol who injured your leg but you still end up dancing despite that. What if the dancing you do makes your leg worse and causes you future problems? If an idol gives 100% despite being sick or injured, we shouldn't praise them as if they did something great because we're giving praise to idols pushing through the pain, and that might lead us to expect other idols to do the same as well, and also might lead us to criticize others who don't do the same. It might lead us to forget that idols are humans and that we should want them to be humans and stop comparing them to others who might be more stronger, health-wise, as a person despite the injuries and sicknesses. It's the same like, for example, if you're working but you're visibly sick or injured and you don't want to go to work even though you'd still have to. This is not a competition, this is someone's life, and praising an idol for doing their best despite this doesn't make them better as idols than ones who don't perform even when sick or injured if that's why you praise them. The last thing that K-pop stans need to understand is that y'all don't know talent and that y'all need to stop praising K-pop groups in the comments of their music videos. I always see comments saying things along the lines of, for example, if a group has 6 members, a comment will be like, 6 vocalists, 6 dancers, etc., and comments like these annoy me because firstly, I've talked about this before, the song has tons of editing done to it, so how do you know the group is talented when there's editing, auto-tune and vocal effects added to make the song stand out more with the vocals, especially if the idol's vocals sound flat or bad? You cannot tell me that all the members in the group are vocalist, as your comment says to praise the group, when not every K-pop group debuts a Mamamoo group, with all members who can sing really well or even sing at all. There are lots of groups where some members sound better than the others and some members can actually sing while others are tone deaf, and so their vocals are not all on the same level for you to be saying, 6 vocalists, going back to the example I gave, if a group has 6 members. Also, with the dancing you can't say that all members are dancers simply because some of the members could be naturally good dancers with the natural talent, while others just do the dancing because it's their job. You can't call all the members dancers because if that were the case, then all the members would be good together in a group setting and just work together well. Also again, not everyone who debuts is a good dancer and some could feel stiff or other issues that they have with dancing even after training before debut, like me for example who is a good singer but cannot dance at all. You guys should stop praising groups as if all the members are talented, because that is not something you can give praise to so easily, meaning that you cannot throw your praise around to literally any group, because by the looks of things, your praise could just be because they're your faves, which if that's the case, then you're just biased and not seeing the reality. Not everyone in K-pop is a dancer or a vocalist, but companies still debut them and we need to stop being so delusional and thinking that there are no untalented idols, when they definitely exist and that's a fact.
I hope you live with peace now.